YouTube? Hope you're all keeping well. Back with another video. This time it's a pickup video, quite a small pickup video. I've only got enough games to show you, probably about 2 videos. All these 8-bit games, all these I imagine software and Ocean software games. Some obscurities, games, some games I've never even flipping heard of before. On systems I've never even played on before. Got a nice selection here like VIC-20, Dragon 32, Oric, BBC Micro, Commodore 64, Amstrad and Spectrum. Blimey, didn't realise there were so many 8-bit systems around, but there were flipping loads, weren't there? And some of them were not successful at all. So yeah, I've tried not to spend as much time on eBay. A, because I don't want to spend any more flipping money, but B, the games I want, there's not many games left for me for my collection that I actually want, unless I start a new collection, which is not financially feasible right now, so I'm going to wait for another 12 months, go through the collection I've got, get rid of any duplicates or anything like that that I don't want, compilations and stuff that I've got, or games that I've picked up because they've been a decent price. So I'm going to just sort through my collection for the next few months and filter out what I don't want. I will pick stuff up, it just won't be to the same tune as the last 6 months really. But yeah, I'm trying to get myself off of social media and stuff like that, because you just sit at a screen, I don't know, half the time you're not doing nothing, are you? Literally just looking at stuff. But Silly Steve said earlier, why are you not on Facebook anymore? I just left Facebook, so I thought I spend like 90% of my time just scrolling up and down and not actually doing nothing, so what's the flipping point? But anyway, first up is Cobra on the ZX Spectrum, a game I've been after for ages, and one of the probably the only few games that are actually familiar. Here he is, old Stallone in all his glory. This guy used to make me laugh back in the day. But yeah, nothing much showing the back. The game is based on the film with the same name. The film was actually quite good fun to watch, actually. Can't remember what the phrase was now. You're the disease and I'm the cure or something, wasn't it? Yeah, a really good game, written by Jonathan Smith. He also done Green Beret, Hyper Sports and Pud, amongst other games, but brutally hard. I could only get to level 2. And that was some achievement in itself. So that's Cobra. The next game I'll show you is another game that's quite familiar. It wasn't really familiar to me, being a Spectrum lad back in the day. And that's Comic Bakery, which I'm pretty sure is an arcade conversion. It's got a really good soundtrack. So I do have a Commodore 64 and I have tested this out, and it's all hunky-dory, no instructions unfortunately. But I hesitated. So this is the other problem with flipping buying stuff, you hesitate. So a copy of this was on eBay, I didn't buy it. So I thought it was a little bit expensive, went back to buy it because I thought I can't see any other copies of this on eBay, and it had flipping gone. So the one that came up had no instructions, so that's the one I went for in the end. So yeah, hasn't come up since as far as I know. Not an overly rare game or nothing, but it's just a bit obscure. Now the next one is obscure. I never heard of it before, on a system I haven't used since school. That's Wizardor for the BBC Micro. I've never played it, I've seen some gameplay footage, it looks pretty good. £100 treasure trail. £100 would be alright now, wouldn't it? But yeah, again, this game came as part of a bundle. I sold the other 3 BBC games off as a little bundle, but this is the one I wanted, and this must have been a BBC exclusive, the same as Comic Bakery was an exclusive for the Commodore 64. So Ocean Software did that quite a bit back in the day. But the next is another system I never had. I never even used it, to be honest, but it's a cover you will be familiar with. It's a game called Legit, which I think was called Jumping Jack or Jumping Flash or Flash Jack. I don't flipping know, but you know what I mean. I played that game years ago, so when you run across the platforms trying to jump through the gap. But again, called Legit. I never played it. I reckon it's not much different on the Dragon 32 than the Spectrum version is on the Spectrum, to be honest. Right, next up is... what else have I got? Shall I show the VIC-20 stuff next? Right, yeah, I'll show you the VIC-20 stuff. So my friend had a VIC-20 years ago. I don't know why his parents bought him that. He spent a fortune buying him that system. Could have just got him a Commodore 64. But he had the VIC-20, he had some cartridge games on it, had the monitor and all kinds of stuff. And I thought, bloody, must have cost a fortune. But these games I've only ever seen on the VIC-20. So imagine released a lot of games on the Spectrum and the VIC-20 back in the day. And the first one is Bewitched. Again, I've got no idea what these play like, so if you've ever played any of these games, please leave a comment below, because I haven't. Next one is called Catcher Snatcher. Then we've got a game called Frantic. Quite catchy artwork on the front, which was quite synonymous of Imagine Software back in the day. Wacky Waiters. I bet a lot of you have never heard of any of these games either. Megavolt. And most of these probably set me back about, I don't know, a couple of quid. So nice and cheap. And I don't know why Imagine done this, but they released quite a few games, some reflection on there, in gold. So sometimes the cassette was gold as well, but yeah, so if you know why that is, let us know. But they look quite catchy, but unfortunately as they age, you can start to see some serious chips, so it doesn't look particularly great. Now this next game is an anomaly. I've got two of these. So before Ocean Software was called Ocean Software, they were called Spectrum Games. But they also released games on the VIC-20, as you're about to see. I'm not sure if these are amongst the earliest Ocean branded games out there. So this is obviously a VIC-20 game, but it's called Caterpillar. It's got one of the flipping nastiest caterpillars I've ever seen in my life. It's a bit freaky, that picture. It's cheesy flipping grin look. But yeah, really bizarre. I've never seen it before on the Spectrum either. So to find it on an Ocean label for the VIC-20 must be a really early Ocean release. But again, got no idea what this game's all about. They did come out on the Spectrum under Spectrum Games, but it's flipping hard to find. As is the next game, Road Frog. Again, Spectrum Games was a bit of a daft name when you're releasing games on different formats. But this is on the Oric. What a flipping hell's an Oric? Road Frog. Again, a really early Ocean branded title. Not much to show you really, because again, I've never played these games. One strange thing about this one though, it's got a silver label, which Ocean didn't normally have their games on silver labels. But another thing you'll notice, which is quite striking, is Ocean Software took a couple of Imagine Software's employees with them, because the old artwork and the kind of branding is identical in the early days. There wasn't much difference between the Imagine stuff and the Ocean stuff, probably because Imagine were very good at doing what they did in terms of the old advertising. Got a couple of Oric games, as well as Road Frog. One is Mr. Wimpy, which we're all probably familiar with, and the other one is Hunchback. So yeah, quite a few little anomalies there, so I'm quite pleased to have these games. None of these were expensive. I think the most expensive one was Comic Bakery, and that was about 12 quid. The rest of them were quite cheap and cheerful. Right, next up is another Ocean title. I've got the other two. I've got Laser Basic, Laser Genius. This one is Laser Compiler for the Commodore 64. As far as I'm aware, those three games all came out on all three systems. But I have each game on a different system. So yeah, I've never used it. I'm never going to use it. And it comes in quite a large box, but this is one of the smaller of the three, because the other two boxes are gigantic. And I've got one more game to show you, which is another very familiar game, but it completes my trilogy of this game, of these series of games, on the Amstrad floppy disk, and that's Renegade. If I hold this wrong, the case will collapse, because the case is absolutely shagged. But anyway, fantastic game on the Amstrad. Plays differently than it does on the Spectrum. Took me a little while to get used to it, to be honest, because I can breeze through the Spectrum version, but this one's a bit more challenging, a bit like the Commodore 64, and a bit more faithful to the arcade. So that's it in terms of pickups for the 8-bit stuff. I've got some 16-bit games to show you, including another Psygnosis title and another Ocean game, which probably completes my Ocean collection, to be honest, because the other titles out there, as far as I know, didn't get released, like Billy the Kid, for example. But yeah, I'm trying to cut down on buying at the moment. I'm probably going to be doing a bit more selling than buying over the next few months, because I've got a lot of duplications on different machines that I don't really want, to be honest. And I've got lots of compilations and stuff like that, which I want to get rid of. So yeah, I need to thin the collection down somewhat, and I've been buying lots of stuff that I don't really want. We all do that, don't we? So I'm going to shift a few games on before I kind of get back into buying some more. So I hope you enjoyed that. A few more Ocean games ticked off my list. I've got some games to get for the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo 64 and the PC and all, but they can wait for now because some of them are bloody expensive. But that's it. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again real soon. Oh, before I forget, I'll get those competition results out real soon, but I'm not going to do any more during the summer because I'm not going to do many YouTube videos or anything like that. So I want to enjoy the sunshine, have a bit of a break. But yeah, I want to do that. I'll do my 32X collection video. I've got a full set on that. I'll show you that hopefully during the course of the week with the competition results. But yeah, you take care of yourselves and I'll see you again real soon. Bye for now.